Welcome to my channel. In this video I will cover the Malay Regiment stand at the Battle of Pasir Panjang during the defense of Singapore in February 1942. In it I will visit the Reflections of Bukit Chandu and the Pasir Panjang Park, near where the fighting was conducted, to give you an idea of the battle, as there are no markers to denote the exact location where the battle was fought. We will first visit the Reflections of Bukit Chandu Museum on Pepys Road in Pasir Panjang. You can either take a taxi or ride share, or take the Singapore Metro called the MRT to the Pasir Panjang Street station and walk to Pepys Road. Once you get there, you should see a sign that looks like this. It is a 15 minutes walk uphill to the museum, so wear comfortable shoes. There should be signs like this to tell you that you are reaching the museum. Then there is a flight of steps up to the museum. At the top of the steps, you should see an old colonial building that looks like this. Around this area are some sculptures of days gone by, like a trolley of pineapples and small boat. You'll have to then walk to the front door of the building, where you will see a sculpture of a Malay Regiment mortar team. Enter in the front door and get your tickets at the front desk. The first part of the exhibit tells the story of the Malay Regiment. In 1933, an experimental company was formed in Port Dickson to assess the viability of such a regiment. By the outbreak of war, the regiment had expanded to 1,400 and had its headquarters in Normanton, camp on the southwest of Singapore. The men of the regiment were recruited from all parts of both the federated and unfederated Malay states. Here we see the various uniforms of the Malay Regiment. The white with the green song is the ceremonial or number 1 uniform. The regiment was equipped with standard British gear and weapons like the Lee Enfield rifles, Bren and Vickers machine guns. They were also equipped with helmets, bayonets, grenades and bugles. Here are other gear like mess tins, water bottle, sewing and shaving kits. On the 8th of December, the Japanese started their invasion of Malaya by landing in Kota Baru on the Malay Peninsula and the ports of Singora and Patani in Thailand. This strike was coordinated with the attack on Pearl Harbor to keep the American Pacific Fleet from coming to the assistance of the British and Dutch. The Malay Regiment was involved in several battles along the Malay Peninsula, including Kampong Salak, Penkalar Chepa, the Krayan River, Batu Pahat, Senggarong and Johor. The British, unable to hold off the Japanese advance, retreated to Singapore. The Malay Regiment was tasked to defend the Pasir Panjang area. The interactive map shows the Japanese advance from their landings on the northwest of Singapore. At Pasir Panjang, on February 14, 1942, Lieutenant Adnan Saidi led a 42-man platoon from C Company in a final stand at Bukit Chandu. There he foiled an attempted infiltration by Japanese troops disguised as Punjabi troops. What gave them away was they were marching in rows of 4 instead of 3, which is standard for the British Army. This was a fierce battle, with the Malay Regiment losing 159 killed, including 6 British and 7 Malay officers. At the end, it was hand-to-hand combat fought with bayonets. Lieutenant Adnan was captured, hanged upside down and bayoneted to death. Even after the surrender, the Japanese tried to coerce the members of the Malay Regiment to change sides, and many were executed. They lived and died by their unit's motto, Taat Setia, all loyal and true. May they rest in peace. By the way, Bukit Chandu means Opium Hill. You find out about this on the 2nd floor of the museum. Singapore was an opium processing center for the British Empire. This is the subject of another video, so I will not cover this here, but what is interesting is that, after the Japanese conquered Singapore, they continued the sale of opium, as it was too lucrative. It was only banned after the Japanese surrendered in 1945. Okay, we will now walk from the museum over to the Pasir Panjang Hill, and I will give you an idea of the geography where the Malay Regiment fought. At the entrance of the museum there is a road. Outside the gates, there is a path that leads to the canopy walk. I highly recommend walking the canopy walk. As you can see, the jungle is relatively thick, I will point down so that you can see what it looks like on the ground below. Now I'll show you how it would look like on the ground. This was taken at Makrichi Reservoir, but it is the same kind of jungle foliage. Notice that you can't see beyond 15 meters. Also, the ground is full of dead and decomposing leaves, and you have to be careful where you step. This was the kind of terrain the Malay Regiment would be fighting in, but being native to this area, they would be comfortable operating in it. We are now walking over to the lookout point on Pasir Panjang Hill. Here is the lookout point on the hill. Here you can see the port of Singapore. Near the lookout point is a heritage marker to mark the location of the battle. This ends the video. I hope it has been educational or entertaining. Thank you for staying till the end. If you have enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. I will leave you with the view of the canopy walk. I hope you will have the opportunity to visit one day.